Welcome, seekers of the unknown, to this deep dive into one of the most intriguing and mysterious texts in the history of Western esotericism, the Emerald Tablet of Hermes Trismegistos. Today, I invite you to join me on a journey through myth, legend, philosophy, alchemy, and spirituality, as we explore the origins, meaning, and lasting impact of this short yet profound piece of writing. The Emerald Tablet is a short, cryptic text considered a cornerstone of Western alchemy and mystical thought. Despite being only a few lines in length, it has exerted a powerful influence on generations of seekers, alchemists, and philosophers who believe it holds secret instructions for transforming both matter and the human spirit. In essence, the tablet sets out principles that suggest a mirror-like relationship between the physical and metaphysical realms, often summarized in the famous phrase, "as above, so below." With its terse yet potent language, it invites readers to contemplate the hidden unity of everything in existence. When we speak of the Emerald Tablet, we typically attribute its authorship to Hermes Trismegistos. This name is said to combine the qualities of two ancient deities, the Greek Hermes and the Egyptian Thoth, fused into a single figure renowned for possessing vast knowledge of both earthly and divine matters. Many ancient texts, collectively referred to as the Hermetic corpus, are also linked to Hermes Trismegistos, suggesting he was a sage or teacher who offered humanity a deeper glimpse into the underlying forces of the universe. While historians still debate whether Hermes Trismegistos was a real individual or a literary construct, the name has come to symbolize a body of esoteric wisdom that shaped philosophical, scientific, and mystical traditions across centuries. According to tradition, Hermes Trismegistos was more than just a wise man. He was a master of magic, alchemy, and cosmic law, hailed as thrice great for his mastery in these distinct yet interrelated fields. Stories abound about how he distilled the essence of universal truth into concise words and symbols, preserving them for future generations. Some legends even say the Emerald Tablet was found in his tomb, carved on a shining emerald stone. Though no original artifact has ever been definitively located, such imagery lends the tablet an air of enchanted antiquity. From a historical standpoint, the Emerald Tablet seems to surface in Arabic writings around the 8th or 9th century. It was then rendered into Latin in the medieval period, at which point it began circulating among European alchemists. Notable figures like Roger Bacon, Albertus Magnus, and later Renaissance scholars became familiar with it, studying its cryptic lines in hopes of uncovering the secrets of matter and the cosmos. While some believed the instructions literally described a step-by-step chemical process, others saw it more as a spiritual allegory, pointing to the purification of the soul. With the rise of printing technology, references to the Emerald Tablet spread throughout Europe, solidifying its status as the go-to text for alchemical transformation. Let's talk about what the Emerald Tablet actually says, or at least about some of its better-known lines. Different translations vary slightly, but the core of the text remains fairly consistent. It typically begins by declaring that what follows is a true and reliable account of a great mystery. It is true without falsehood, certain and most true. This statement serves as a powerful declaration, immediately establishing the unimpeachable nature of the wisdom that is about to be conveyed. It is not presented as opinion or conjecture, but as absolute truth, demanding the reader's utmost attention and signaling the profound significance of the information that follows. This emphatic opening sets the tone for the entire text, preparing the recipient for insights of universal and fundamental importance. Then it makes its most famous claim: that which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below. This phrase is often shortened to "as above, so below," and it encapsulates a foundational principle of esoteric thought, that there is an intrinsic correspondence between the microcosm, what happens in our immediate, smaller realm, and the macrocosm, the vast cosmos at large. In many esoteric and hermetic traditions, you'll often see a figure depicted with one hand raised and the other pointed downward. This pose famously represents the principle of "as above, so below." A well-known example is Eliphas Levi's depiction of Baphomet, where the goat-headed figure points up with one hand and down with the other. For centuries, "as above, so below" has been interpreted in many ways, In a purely alchemical sense, it might mean that processes we observe in nature, such as the growth of crystals or the cycle of elements, mirror grander celestial processes. Conversely, in spiritual terms, many have taken it to mean that the same patterns that shape galaxies and stars also shape the human soul or psyche. Studying one realm can illuminate the other. Some interpret it in astrological terms. The movements of planets and stars supposedly reflect events and energies in our own lives. Others see a more psychological interpretation, arguing that what happens in our subconscious mind influences our external experiences, and vice versa. Beyond as above, so below, the tablet includes brief references to the sun, often called the father, and the moon, the mother, which unite to create something new. It mentions the wind carrying this new essence in its belly. This passage is rich in alchemical and symbolic meaning. By referencing the sun and moon, it evokes the dynamic interplay of fire and water, opposing yet complementary forces that represent masculine and feminine, day and night, activity and receptivity. In alchemical terms, bringing these opposites into harmony is what ultimately leads to the creation of the philosopher's stone, considered the supreme catalyst for transformation. The mention of the wind and the earth underscores the importance of the four classical elements, fire, water, air, and earth, all of which participate in the birth and nurturing of this mysterious substance or principle. On a deeper level, this symbolism conveys that creation is not the product of a single isolated force, but rather emerges from the interaction of contrasting elements. In spiritual and personal growth, it serves as a reminder that balance is key. We must reconcile reason with intuition, action with contemplation. It is in the union of these apparent opposites that we find the potential for true development and self-discovery. Moving on to the next passage, we encounter a deceptively simple statement. Its power is perfect if it is turned into earth. At first glance, this may seem cryptic. However, it underscores a key alchemical and spiritual insight. While lofty ideas, visions, or essences might exist in the realm of potential, their actual power is only realized when grounded in the physical world. In other words, the highest truths must be translated into everyday life, our actions, our relationships, and our tangible creations, or else they remain mere abstractions. For the alchemist in the laboratory, this meant the literal transformation of substances, to purify, refine, and eventually fix or stabilize the volatile essences so they could achieve lasting material form. On a personal inner level, it reminds us that genuine transformation is more than just a lofty spiritual experience. It is something that must be lived. If we're striving to refine ourselves, our thoughts, habits, and intentions, then all that new understanding must be integrated into how we treat others, handle challenges, and contribute to the world around us. Thus, the Emerald Tablet tells us that no matter how brilliant or insightful our discoveries, they must be turned into earth to be meaningful and lasting. The next line in the Emerald Tablet is, "Separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross sweetly with great industry." Building on the idea that true power must be grounded, the Emerald Tablet now addresses the process of refinement, an essential step in both alchemical and personal transformation. At first glance, this line appears straightforward. It advises separating different qualities or substances, but let's unpack its deeper meaning. On the literal alchemical level, separate the earth from the fire means distinguishing the denser material components from the more volatile energetic ones. Alchemists would subject their substances to repeated processes of heating, cooling, distillation, and condensation. Through this careful separation, they aim to isolate the purest essence of a material, the part capable of transformation, and discard what was impure or inert. Spiritually, the instruction to separate the subtle from the gross points to the inner work of sifting through our thoughts, feelings, and habits to uncover what is most true, refined, and genuinely beneficial. It implies examining ourselves thoroughly to identify unhelpful patterns or negativity, the gross, and gently remove or transform them so that our higher qualities, clarity, compassion, creativity, can shine through. The phrase, "sweetly with great industry," offers crucial insight into how this work should be done. Sweetly suggests a measured, patient, and mindful approach. Forcing change or applying extreme pressure often leads to resistance or damage rather than lasting transformation. Yet we are also instructed to proceed with great industry, meaning that this process, while gentle, is far from passive. It requires perseverance, discipline, and a willingness to engage in the sometimes painstaking effort of genuine purification. Taken together, this passage tells us that real refinement, be it in the laboratory or within our inner lives, is neither hurried nor lax. It is a balanced, conscientious practice of isolating what is essential and discarding what is no longer useful, all the while maintaining a patient, respectful attitude toward the transformative journey. Following the tablet shows this core line: it ascends from the earth to the heaven, and again it descends to the earth and receives the power of the superiors and of the inferiors. Having just explored the importance of separating and refining, we now come to a passage that describes the cyclical, dynamic nature of the alchemical process. The substance, or by extension the alchemist's own consciousness, first ascends from the earthly realm to the heavenly or spiritual plane, gathering insight, potency, and clarity along the way. Then it descends once more into the material world, bringing with it the transformative power gained above. On a laboratory level, this line alludes to the repeated distillation and condensation essential to alchemy. By heating a substance, letting its vapors rise, ascending, and then cooling those vapors so they condense back down, descending, the alchemist gradually refines and purifies the material. Through multiple cycles of ascent and descent, imperfections are burned away, and what remains becomes more potent, more essential. From a spiritual or psychological perspective, this cycle mirrors the process of elevating our consciousness, perhaps through meditation, deep reflection, or profound insight, and then returning to our everyday lives, relationships, and challenges. Each time we descend with newfound wisdom, we have the chance to integrate that wisdom into tangible actions, habits, and attitudes. The tablet's mention of receiving the power of the superiors and the inferiors underlines that both realms, celestial and terrestrial, spiritual and material, contribute to our transformation. We need both the inspiration that comes from the higher plane, the superiors, and the grounding real-world lessons of the lower plane, the inferiors, to achieve true and lasting change. In essence, this passage emphasizes that transformation is not a one-way journey toward enlightenment. Rather, it is a continual flow between the heights of revelation and the depths of lived experience. Much like the process of breathing in and breathing out, each phase depends on the other, and genuine alchemical progress arises from honoring and engaging fully with both. The Emerald Tablet then states, "Thus you will have the glory of the whole world, therefore all obscurity will flee from you." Having followed the cyclical process of ascent and descent, the Emerald Tablet now reveals the promised outcome for anyone who successfully undertakes this alchemical or spiritual work. By uniting higher wisdom, the superiors, with grounded reality, the inferiors, through repeated refinement, you eventually attain what the text calls the glory of the whole world. From a literal alchemical standpoint, this refers to producing the philosopher's stone, believed to grant mastery over matter, including the power to transmute base metals into gold. But on a more personal, internal level, the glory of the whole world can be understood as a state of enlightenment, clarity, or profound self-awareness. It implies a kind of radiant openness where confusion and ignorance, the obscurity mentioned, no longer hold sway. In practical terms, this might manifest as a sense of deep insight, creative flow, or emotional resilience, qualities that arise when we consistently refine our perceptions and actions. By harmonizing our inner life with outer reality, and vice versa, we gain a clearer vision of our purpose and a heightened ability to contribute positively to the world. Ultimately, this passage encourages us to see that the result of diligent, balanced transformation is not merely personal gain, but a broader, more luminous way of engaging with life. When obscurity flees, it leaves room for genuine wisdom, compassion, and the kind of authentic power that alchemy has symbolized for centuries. Its force is above all force, for it vanquishes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid thing. Continuing the progression of the Emerald Tablet, we now encounter a declaration of the extraordinary power inherent in the alchemical essence, whether we call it the philosopher's stone, the ultimate elixir, or simply the refined spirit within us. On the practical, lab-based level, alchemists believed that this perfected substance, once fully purified through repeated cycles of separation and combination, held the capability to transform anything it touched. It could purify base metals, heal ailments, and reveal hidden truths. Interpreted inwardly, this passage suggests that once we've undertaken the meticulous inner work of purification, our spiritual core gains an unparalleled potency. Vanquishing every subtle thing can be seen as overcoming the more elusive barriers, like self-doubt, unhealthy thought patterns, or subconscious fears, while penetrating every solid thing indicates that this transformative power also breaks through life's seemingly insurmountable obstacles. In essence, the deep, clarified wisdom we cultivate becomes strong enough to permeate our most ingrained habits and beliefs, reshaping our lives at every level. Ultimately, this line of the tablet reminds us that true power, the kind that arises from balanced, integrated transformation, is not merely a theoretical concept. It is a force so refined and universal that it transcends all boundaries, whether they be physical, mental, or spiritual. By following the alchemical process, we aim to access that force within ourselves and allow it to elevate us beyond our limitations. The Emerald Table ends with the lines, "Thus the world was created. From this are and do come admirable adaptations, of which this is the manner." In these concluding lines, the Emerald Tablet broadens its scope from individual transformation to the grand scale of cosmic creation. By stating the world was created in the same breath as the alchemical process, the text asserts that the same principles guiding laboratory work and personal refinement also shape the very fabric of reality. It implies that the cycles of ascent and descent, the union of opposites, and the progressive purification we've encountered in earlier passages are not limited to human endeavors. They are woven into the fundamental processes of nature and existence. The phrase admirable adaptations draws our attention to the myriad forms and phenomena that arise from this universal act of creation. Whether we view it biologically, spiritually, or even scientifically, life constantly evolves and adapts through patterns of transformation. Alchemy, in this sense, is not just a set of medieval experiments, but a reflection of the same forces that govern the cosmos. By tapping into these forces, through conscious awareness, deliberate practice, and the harmonizing of opposites, we align ourselves with the very engine of evolution. Finally, the tablet's remark that this is the manner of how everything comes to be underscores its core message. The alchemical process, with all its stages of purification and integration, mirrors the ongoing dance of creation itself. Having traversed each step, acknowledging the power of the sun and moon, grounding that power in the earth, repeatedly refining and unifying, this final statement closes the loop. It reminds us that our own work of transformation is inseparable from the world's perpetual unfolding, inviting us to participate consciously in the continual act of becoming. So in conclusion, the Emerald Tablet reads as follows: "It is true without falsehood, certain and most true. That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of one thing. Its father is the sun, its mother the moon. The wind has carried it in its belly, the earth is its nurse. Its power is perfect if it is turned into earth. Separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, sweetly with great industry. It ascends from the earth to heaven, and again it descends to earth, and receives the power of the superiors and of the inferiors. Thus you will have the glory of the whole world. Therefore all obscurity will flee from you. Its force is above all force, for it vanquishes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid thing. Thus the world was created. From this are and do come admirable adaptations, of which this is the manner." By exploring each line and uncovering its symbolism, we gain a deeper understanding of how the cosmos, the elements, and our own personal growth are profoundly interconnected. Whether you view these passages as literal instructions for alchemical experiments or as metaphors for spiritual and psychological transformation, The central message remains: true power and wisdom arise when we recognize the unity of all things and learn to harmonize opposing forces within ourselves. I hope this video has illuminated the timeless teachings of the Emerald Tablet and how you might apply them to your own life. Feel free to revisit each passage, meditate on its meaning, and see where it takes you on your journey of self-discovery. Thank you for watching, and leave a like if you have enjoyed this video, and until next time.